So I just got done watching Gold Coast absolutely destroy Essendon. I mean, it was genuinely a tough watch. Like, I feel really bad for Essendon and, just kind of the hard year they've had. But watching Gold Coast basically freaking touch these guys without consent is probably the best way to describe it. Was definitely a very hard thing. Very hard thing to watch what's happened with Essendon this year. But I mean, very positive news that Gold Coast, for the first time in their history, have made the A. I mean, since when they first started in the competition, I mean, shit, I was still playing freaking Pokemon 24/7. I don't even think I knew what a girl was. And, fast forward 15 years later, I don't play Pokemon as much. I kind of know what a girl is, I think. Now I make YouTube videos. So this is how long it has been since Gold Coast have been in the comp. But they made the 8. They're in finals. We have week 1 now, which is right here. Again, we're going to be doing the tips and predictions for week 1 of finals. See how I'm going to go again. I'm kind of pretty chaotic in this video because, again, this has just happened after Gold Coast, and I usually put a lot of research into my tips and predictions, but this one, I kind of think it's kind of interesting to go with my heart and just kind of, back in who I think is going to win, and it kind of just go off the dome, really, because there's a lot of really interesting games here. Again, I think the first one, which is, why is my nose itching so much? Like, I don't know, someone's freaking beating it with a feather or some shit. Before I get distracted again with Casper the Ghost freaking touching me with a feather. The first game is Thursday, Adelaide versus Collingwood. I mean, a lot of people are tipping Adelaide here, and this is a really interesting one because it was only a couple weeks ago where Adelaide actually barely just won. Like, I think Collingwood played an insanely good game, and with Collingwood's learnings and them actually being there rather than this Adelaide team who's going in there with a lot of inexperience, I think this could very well go with Collingwood. So I don't know why everyone is absolutely betting, Adelaide here. Again, I think this is going to be closer than expected. I will be going very safe with this, and I will be tipping Adelaide, but I think a lot of people are just going way too much on a certainty here. I think Collingwood could easily get the win. There's no reason why they couldn't. I mean, they were very, very, very close the last time they played them, and it's just going to be, can Collingwood continue to go with a lot of the older legs that they have? I mean, Adelaide, again, haven't been to the finals, but they were able to prevail and win that game a couple weeks ago. Maybe that was a good learning curve for them, but it could have also been a great learning curve for Collingwood. So we'll definitely have to wait and see. Again, we've got Geelong versus Brisbane here, Friday night at the MCG. I mean, as you guys know, I'm a pretty big fan of what Brisbane have been doing. I actually think Brisbane are a really good MCG team. They're a great finals team, and their game plan and how they play stack up in finals. Well, Geelong, I mean, this is going to be a great game because at the end of the day, you got, I think, what is probably the 2 best teams in the competition. The 2 teams that I think I have in the, as who I think would probably make the grand final. You've got them going against each other here, and it's going to be a blockbuster because last year they played off against each other, and it was arguably the best finals game I've seen in a very long time. It was so goddamn good. So I think this is going to be massive, and I think Geelong are actually going to get revenge against Brisbane for what happened last year. I don't know why, but I think Brisbane, they might actually lose this one. I think Geelong are going to come on top. I think Geelong have just been so good, and they've got arguably the best player in the game, Jeremy Cameron, and what a competition that might be, seeing Cameron go up against Brisbane. It's also like Brisbane have had a ton of injuries as of late, unfortunately, so I think Geelong might be a bit better than what they were last year. Brisbane slightly worse just with all the injuries. Again, they're just getting some players back now, so that could be a very interesting one. Again, we've got the first elimination final, GWS versus Hawthorn. I've actually got a little bit of an upset here. I think a lot of people are tipping the Giants. I'm actually going to be tipping Hawthorn. I think some of the form that I've been seeing Hawthorn have, in recent weeks, has it started to get a little bit better. I mean, Marbia Chol has been playing some insane footy recently, just playing his role, and Hawthorn have this new key forward dynamic, which I find so intriguing when you watch them, because they actually are playing technically 4 key forwards if we're counting Jack Gunston. They're like playing Mitch Lewis, at times as their stay-at-home guy, but he actually has been moving up the ground a fair bit, like a lot more than what I thought they were going to have him do. Kel Shadir has definitely been the guy who's been moving up the ground a lot, while Jack Gunston is kind of playing as like that third tall kind of role. And then you got Marbia Chol, who has been the stay-at-home key forward, who has actually been playing a lot deeper than what I thought they would normally be playing Marbia Chol. He's been playing some deep full forward, and then we'll pinch here in the ruck when needed as well. Again, the other interesting thing is they always have one of these key forwards like on the bench. It's like the 4 key forwards constantly rotate, and they'll only ever have like 3 on the ground and 1 guy will stay on the bench. Again, the only time I think they're all on the ground is when like a Chol is playing in the ruck or something like that. But it is a really new, interesting dynamic that I'm excited to see how it goes in finals, because one of Hawthorn's strengths in finals last year was their great, pace and space that they kind of had. Like, they were extremely quick. Their burst from a stoppage and burst in the play was insane. But with the forwards, the key forwards, have they been a little bit slower? I'm not too sure. We'll see it against the Giants. Again, the Giants are an interesting team right now because you could argue they've got one of the best, top 16 players in the game. It's just their depth has been letting them down, I think, a little bit. They've had a couple injuries here and there, and it hasn't looked that good. Again, I think they could easily beat Hawthorn here. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're the home team, and they have been in the finals for a long time. Got a lot of really experienced guys. But I'm going to be backing in Hawthorn to win this game, get the upset. Yeah, that's just what I think is going to happen. Again, Fremantle versus Gold Coast. This is going to be really cool because you've probably got the 2 most inexperienced teams here. Again, Gold Coast, 99% of their players have never made the 8 because they've never made the finals. Again, they've got some experienced guys there now, like John Noble and Daniel Rioli off that half-back line, who are going to absolutely make a statement, I think, in finals, or at least I hope so. But Fremantle, I don't think have a whole lot of experience on their team. They've definitely got players who have played finals, but some of them haven't played them for a bit. It's going to be interesting to see how this does unfold. Again, originally, I think I actually had Gold Coast winning this game, but I don't know. Are Gold Coast going to come in and shit themselves? They could very well do. Again, Damien Hardwick's, I think, record in elimination finals is actually 0-4. I don't think Damien Hardwick has ever made a first round elimination final and won it. So that is really interesting to actually think about. Again, in saying that though, I mean, Richmond were very much robbed in 2022 when Tom Lynch kicked that goal, and the Arc actually called it a point because of Tom Lynch's reaction wasn't too positive. Again, Brisbane ended up winning, kicking the goal 10 seconds before the siren. They won the game. Tom Lynch, and I think it was revealed in SCN the next day that it was actually believed that that was a goal, and they AFL very much messed up. Again, there wasn't really much of an apology or anything like that. It was very much swept under the rug. But I think Damien Hardwick, his luck in elimination finals, I mean, looking at that where the Tigers were robbed after a terrible Arc call, doesn't have a whole lot of luck there. So we'll see how he does go with the Gold Coast Suns and if he can get a win. Which does make me think, you know what? I might change my tip. You can't lose 0-5 elimination finals, can ya? I don't think so. You can't lose 5 elimination finals. That's just impossible. So you know what? I'm going to tip Gold Coast. I'm changing it. I'm going to tip them to beat Fremantle. They've got one of the best players in the game right now, if not the best, in Noah Anderson. And Fremantle's midfield hasn't been doing that great, actually, as of late. And I just watched Gold Coast midfield kick 7 goals against Essendon. You had blokes like Anderson kick 3, had the best game of his career. Matt Rao kicked 2 and had 30. I mean, you've got some absolutely insane in-form midfielders. So you know what? I'm tipping Gold Coast. I'm changing it to get the upset against Fremantle here. But yeah, I mean, I did also make a post talking about, I think Fremantle have been underrated and not being talked about enough going in finals, and they could be an underdog and could be the underdog. So maybe they do actually get the win. But again, I'm going to change it. I'm going to tip Gold Coast because I don't think a man can go 0-5 in elimination finals, or at least I hope so for Damien Hardwick's sake, because Jesus Christ, he's had some bad luck in there. Like, even against Carlton in 2013, lost to a team that shouldn't have even been in the finals. It should have been Essendon. They pumped Essendon like the week before that, but they got taken out of it because of the scandal. Then I think in 2015 when they lost to North, that was pretty goddamn stiff too. If I remember it right, the umpiring was a little bit controversial in that game. 2014 they just got touched by Port Adelaide, and then in 2022 they got robbed by the Arc. And the AFL shortcomings on the review system, which still use 360p freaking quality and footage cameras, and the AFL to this day still don't care, and they still haven't fixed it, which makes you really wonder why. But again, I'm very interested to see how this, of course, all does unfold. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all those AFL content and news. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below on the week 1 tips and predictions. I'd very much like to know how you guys are going on about this. Again, subscribe to my gaming/movie channel, which will also be getting linked down below. My Instagram, go check that out, which will be getting linked down below as well. But yeah, as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.